Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Write or Die Show. I'm your host, Randi-lee. On the show, we interview other writers and we talk about mental health from their personal journeys. If you have not already hit that like and subscribe button, go ahead, do that now so that you never miss an episode. So, welcome. Today we have Joseph M Lenard with us. How are you?
Uh, it's a little early. I think I might take a nap after this.
Ooh, I love naps. So,
Yeah, I see your cat there, so I'm
yes, she's
inspired to take a cat nap. Yeah.
perfect. That is the perfect kind of nap to have. So tell us, who is Joseph M Lenard?
Yeah, well, first, the name. It is Joseph M. Lenard. It looks like Lenard. It's not French. It's Leonard with no O. Uh, it's actually Polish. Who knows what it was at one Leonard Wowskiewicz or whatever? Who knows? But it got shortened to Leonard. And on my mother's side, Keeler, German from the Kiel region of Germany.
Okay.
So, but born and raised here in the Detroit, Michigan area. And while I hate the winters, absolutely hate them, although there's a lot of other places that have worse winters, I,
Yeah.
I, I choose to stay, family and friends, and I'm lazy. I don't want to pack and move.
I actually said
So,
to my husband yesterday, I'm like, moving seems like a lot of effort.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like, in that whole change thing, you know, I'm 60, so I'm like, yeah, at that get off my lawn. I don't like change kind of thing.
Oh,
You
yes.
know, change can be good, but change can be annoying. So, uh, I've been writing my whole life. My dad, I got the creative gene from my father's side. My
Okay.
dad had created a band, Ted Leonard Jr. and the Polka Kings.
Mm.
And you can look them up and still find their vinyl albums, of course, and back then, and vinyl 45 RPMs, and so of course I dabbled in writing and recording music, but 70s and 80s, same with publishing. I mean, you had to sign a book deal or you had to
Yes.
sign a record deal. Times now, of course, you can record and put up online and sell for 99 cents your songs.
Yep.
Quick, easy downloads or burn a CD to send.
Yep.
Uh, it's like publishing, self-publishing, or as I like to say, some firms are assisted publishing.
Yep.
You get what you pay for, as they say.
It's
There
true.
are
It's
less
true.
expensive routes, and there are more expensive, and you pay for the more experience. And
Mm-hmm.
the more help they give you, of course, it's a greater value, it's a higher cost.
Yes.
So So
Okay.
yeah, and because most people, like, let's face it, there's a lot of people who write and want to publish, but the established publishers have a stable of horses. They're
Mm.
studs that they put out for the races, and they're only looking for an occasional new horse because they want to breed their studs. That which they know is going to fetch them the money.
Well, it is
Yeah,
all about the money.
yeah. It's like the movie where the crawdads sing.
I haven't
There.
seen it though.
Oh, I love it,
I've
love it.
heard it's
Very
so
good.
good.
It is in a To Kill a Mockingbird kind of sense.
Okay.
Kind of an old school, traditional, old school movie. It can be a bit slow for
Hmm.
people, because the modern movie is usually
Yeah.
action, 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 action.
Yes,
There's
that's
always
true.
something blowing up somewhere on the screen, but
Yeah.
it is a slow, steady storytelling pace. And I mention the movie because in there, minor spoiler, no big spoiler here, is people recognize that the main character, played by Daisy Edgar Jones, uh, illustrates, and she's good at it. So people suggest to her send her illustrations in to see if a publisher will publish them.
Oh, okay.
That's the way it was done.
Yes.
20, 30, 40 years ago. That's the only way you could do it. Now you've got other options.
Yes.
And for 99.999 add in some percent of people, that is the option, the only real option.
Yeah.
And then once you've got a book or two out, like I have, now I'm established and can produce, not present, approach was the word I was looking for.
Yes.
I'm a better writer than I am a speaker. I can approach them and say, this is the book I'm looking to do next. I have these. Are you interested?
Yeah.
So that's kind of me in a nutshell. Now, this is me trying to get out of the nutshell.
Nope, you're
the
stuck in
goes.
there. You're stuck in there. All right, so let's talk about the hot topic of the show, mental health. So tell us, what mental health are we going to be looking at?
Yeah, well, I deal with stress and anxiety and depression, and while obviously not fun to talk about, I feel called to talk about it, and it's in part why I wrote Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You. I am a suicide attempt survivor.
All
So
right.
I feel it's important uh, to make my life have value, to make sure everyone else understands their life has value.
That is a great way to look at it. Yeah. So let's dive in a little bit. When did you first notice that you were having trouble with your mental health?
Well, for whatever reason, and again, with everybody, it's different, and
Of course.
it can be a chemical thing. It can be just a nagging, aggravating mental thought thing.
Hmm.
For me, I was put on antidepressants, and they never helped me because mine is more of an anxiety and stress and
Okay.
induced depression, that those antidepressants never really helped me, which is not to say anybody out there on antidepressants, don't stop taking them. Always consult your physician, right? I'm not a physician. I'm not here giving advice on that. But I'm just saying that for whatever reason, at an early age, I'd always dealt with depression. I mean, a lot of kids do, right? And just never grew out of it. And one day, it just seemed like I wasn't myself anymore. It
Okay.
was, I was there. I was present. I saw and heard what was going on, but it was like I was not in control of myself. And
Hmm.
I took my usual Xanax for the anxiety.
Yeah.
Then I took some more. And then I took the rest of the bottle. And next thing I know, I'm waking up in the hospital. So,
So was it a conscious decision then to take some more and some more, or just it's
well,
sort of
yeah, like I said, I was there. I knew I was doing it, but no, it really wasn't seemingly a conscious decision on my part to do that. I,
okay?
I mean, yes, I had, again, with depression, thought about and
Hmm.
taking my life, and indeed wanting to die. It is a continued struggle, depression,
Hmm.
you know. But um, knowing what I've gone through, I like to say, and I've said this for decades, and I have my character Martin say it in Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You. Remember, things could always be better, but they could often be worse. It ends there, but I usually also like to add, you don't know what tomorrow may bring, right? You don't know what the
Yes.
promise of tomorrow, next week, next month, next year holds until carpe diem. You seize that day. And you may not realize about the value your life has to others. Oh, there's your other baby. Or is that
Yep.
the same one, just a
Nope,
different
this is a
angle?
different baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
So
is the one that
beautiful.
actually pushed the door open and let the other
Oh,
one
okay.
in.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they do a little tag team. I have to get the door fixed. I thought I had fixed it and I was wrong.
Yeah. All right. Well, like I was saying, you may not recognize the value your life has to others. People won't say, don't, they may occasionally say, I love you, or right,
Mhm.
but people don't say on a daily basis, well, thank you for being here. You
It's
add
true.
so much value to me. It's just not part of human conversation normally, right?
Hmm.
But that doesn't mean it isn't there. And it's like the movie It's a Wonderful Life, right?
Another one I haven't seen.
Oh my, really? Holy cow. You're in rare company there. I mean, because it's shown practically every day, 10 times a day on 20 different channels during December, every December.
And I'm pretty sure that's the one where the kid licks the pole, right?
No,
Oh,
no.
that's a different one. There's too
But
many of them.
yeah, well, It's a Wonderful Life is Clarence is an angel trying to earn his wings, showing George the value of his life because
Ah.
George wants to commit suicide.
Oh,
And
okay.
again, I had a bird land on my window there. Your cat would love to try to be here now and get at it, right?
Probably. Yeah.
uh, but Claire, it's a movie
Yeah.
and like a book, right? It's meant to be overly dramatic to make a
Yes.
point,
Yeah.
but the point is still important and remains. He shows George that if he hadn't been here, uh, a pharmacist would have poisoned a child that would have killed him and destroyed, obviously, his family and that child's family. So
Oh.
again, now that's overly dramatic.
Oh, of
That's
course.
not
Yeah.
likely to have happened in your life, but very subtle things you do potentially every day make
Hmm.
something for someone else. And I didn't choose this hairdo. I had leukemia in 2010. And
Oh,
once the
sorry.
chemo made it come out, I said, okay, I'm just going to keep shaving it.
Yep.
Right. But like I said to Taylor on the Surviving Cancer Together show, uh, some little thing you do brightens someone else's life that then they choose to live. Then their child is born and goes on to cure a cancer.
Yeah.
You've then had a small part in curing that cancer because
Hmm.
without you, there wouldn't have been them for that child to be here. And again, that's a subtle thing. It's not going to smack you upside the face and say, look, you may
Yeah.
not see it, you may not ever know it, but it happens.
Hmm. I can't remember what it was. There was some show or maybe it was a song. It might have been a song, I think, actually. Anyways, it talks about how um they were so glad that they were stopped at the red light because a second later, there was an accident, and so they weren't in
Yep.
the accident. And
Yep.
it's those little things that every so often I catch myself having to go, you know what? If this is the worst thing that happens, that I'm stuck in at this red light or whatever, then I'm having a good day.
Yeah, exactly. Again, the what ifs and the what might have beens that you do not and may not, probably will not ever know.
Mm-hmm.
Those close calls you didn't realize that, there were. And since we've talked movies, did you see the butterfly effect?
Yes, that one I love.
Hey,
I
all right,
love a horror
yay!
suspense thriller. So
Oh, okay. You love my book then. It's a political thriller. It's a bit of, it's not a
I'm actually
blood.
currently reading that one right now.
Okay, yeah, it's not a blood and guts shoot 'em up. It's an intellectual pursuit.
Hmm.
In fact, let me do this. I like to try to do this during shows. Let me go to my website so I get it right. Terrorstrikes.info. At the bottom of every page in the footer, fair warning, while some historical aspects are mixed within, this is a fictional story with fictional characters. Technically, it's historical fiction. I like to call it faction, a blend between fact and fiction. Many deem this book controversial and upsetting in many places, which it is meant to be. It
Yeah, I
is meant,
actually just read a part that I could definitely see that being.
yeah, meant to make people think, to challenge their own and others' intentions, motives, own morality, and mortality. So, yeah, it's meant to be upsetting and to get you to think. And like in the Naperville chapter, you're probably not there yet. Teresa discovers that while she thought she was the mama bear she needed to be for her child, she realizes she was more an ostrich.
Yes, I'm not
In
there
that, yeah,
yet.
not being aware enough of all so many things going on around her that she needed to protect her child from.
Hmm.
We get complacent in life. And I
Yeah.
like to say my book is not about death, but of life and living. It's about life. Live your life. Just don't be stupid and live with a complete reckless abandon to
Hmm.
everything going on around you.
Yes.
But yeah, butterfly effect, to get back to that. Like, yeah,
Yes.
how one thing can affect so many other things,
Yeah.
right? There's that principle. And then also, there was a Nicolas Cage movie. Oh, knowing, because you mentioned the accident thing.
I.
That reminded me of the movie Knowing. And also, he has another movie called Next, where he can kind of see potential probable futures.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be great to be able to do that? Don't turn right, there's trouble there. Go
Right. Yeah.
left, go left, right? you
Mm-hmm.
know, so, life is, problematic. Life obviously can be difficult. It's
Mm-hmm.
difficult for everyone in some way, shape, or form. You're not the only person dealing with issues. And again, we as long as we help each other, we'll get through this together.
Yes. Okay, so let's go back to your story. Um, and you had said, you had taken a bunch, and then you had woken up, and then we kind of got off on our tangent. So let's go back there, and tell us what happened next.
Well, yeah, I don't know how to verbalize much else, other than, it is clearly just fortunate that for whatever reason, uh, my mother decided to come over
Okay.
and found me in the kitchen on the floor. Otherwise, you know, who knows? Because I lived alone then, I still live alone now. So, you know, uh, uh, yeah, I mean, I, I, like I said, I felt like it wasn't me. Like I was just present and along for the ride,
Mm-hmm.
and took the one, took a couple more, took a handful, took the rest of the bottle, and then, yeah, gone until I'm awake in the hospital, whatever amount of time that was later. I don't, still to this day, I have no real recollection or concept of that time that
Oh,
had
okay.
passed, and then being there in the substance abuse ward, for whatever term technically, but
Yep.
to uh, uh, to then get help, and it wasn't all that necessary, because once that I was back awake and alert, I understood immediately the concepts we're talking about
Okay.
the life having value, and you don't know how much value you bring others.
Okay. So then after you got out, what was your next step to get help? So, because you understood life had value, and so what
Yeah,
did you do?
again, always dealing. I have a myriad of health issues, stress, anxiety, and then the depression because of other health issues and everything on top of that. It is just something that you have to come to an acceptance of how things are for you. Uh, yes, in some cases, you can find help to help make aspects better, but you have to accept the fact, if you indeed have deep seated depression, it may never go away, and you have to accept your life as it is. Now, like I said, I have health issues, so I'm on disability. I've been since 2004. That's just a fact of life I have to accept and adjust to.
Hmm.
That's one of the reasons why then I was so eager to share my writings from over the years in finally an internationally published book. And again, as part of being a suicide attempt survivor, that being a major sub theme and expressing these thoughts, you may not recognize it, but your life has value and you're impacting others in a positive way.
Okay, that is all. My cat's trying to take my headphones out. Um, that is very powerful though, because a lot of us don't. I can remember early on in having this show, when my brother had died, and we were at his what's that called? The viewing. And my cousin from Toronto came down. She's the only other girl on my mom's side. And she gave me a hug and she goes, "What you're doing is so important." And she was referring to this show because I had just actually released an episode talking about my brother, and I was like all tears and whatever. So you guys can go way back. It's called Loving an Addict. That's that episode. And as soon as she said that, because I didn't really know if it made a difference. Again, the show was so new, so I didn't have very many followers and stuff.
Right.
Um, and I just started bawling, like on top of already being sad. Then she said that and made me so emotional because you don't hear it very often, and it's
Right.
it's nice to hear sometimes.
It is nice to hear on occasion, and again, it's a big part of why I'm here. Obviously, I'm here to promote the book and ask
Yeah,
people to buy the book, but like I said, part of the reason for this book is to spread that and to try to help others. And so, yes, I'm here in hope that something I say, something we talk about, reaches somebody and
yeah.
helps them. So yeah, I mean, your show is very important. And again, like I said earlier, and you just reiterated, you don't know, you don't always get that feedback,
Hmm.
but it makes a difference. Just as everyone's life in some way, shape, or form makes a difference, whether you see it or hear feedback about it very often, if at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Um, so I think that's the theme of this show is
Yeah.
you have purpose, whether or not you know what it is, and you might live your entire life not knowing what it is. Um, because like the example that you had given, you have no real idea of who you inspired along the way to find a new partner and then they end up having a baby
Yeah.
or write a different book or get in the job that they got into. We may never know what our actions actually had an impact on. Um, and so you can't dwell on that fact. You have to just, oh, the cat keeps pressing my mouse. Stop it. Um, you can't dwell on the fact that you may never know. Um, but know that you have purpose. Whether or not you know what that purpose is, you do have it.
Yeah. Why doesn't your cat like me trying to sabotage this show?
I think he's just trying to sabotage the whole computer.
Yeah.
That way,
Well,
mom can't work no more.
right. Can pay more attention to him then, right? Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
He is an attention hog.
Oh,
Um,
one of
yeah,
my sister's cat, Boogity, is that way.
yes.
Absolute attention whore. Always
And actually,
pet me, pet me, pet
I'll
me.
tell look at this face right here.
Oh,
Look at
yes.
this face.
So adorable. Yes.
Sorry to
So
everyone listening
adorable.
podcast style. You can't see this adorable face of my cat just
Yeah.
absolutely in heaven with the head scratches.
Yeah. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
like the butterfly effect, things affect other things. Now, how much that scientific principle is real, if you go back and actually kill a butterfly, it means that humanity then doesn't later exist because the dinosaurs
Yeah,
ate
lots
eat
of
all the
shows have went and
people.
did that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, again, books and movies are meant to be overly dramatic
Yes.
to make the point.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
there's the other one. Oh, there's
yeah.
the other one. Yeah, the black one looks like my sister Boogity, and I had one called CC for carbon copy because
Oh, there.
right, looked like every other black cat with the golden eyes, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
called her CC. Yeah.
That's funny. This cat's name is actually called Black Cat.
Okay. Uh,
And it's a funny story. So let me share this funny story. I think I might have shared it on the show before, but I'm doing it again. So we had just gotten her and brought her home. She immediately ran out of the house and we couldn't find her. We were looking all around the neighborhood and it was thunderstorming. And so my kid, how long have we had you, Black Cat? Quite a while now. So my kid was probably like 8, 9 at the time. And he's crying, I want my black cat back. I want my black cat back. Because we hadn't named her yet. So all we could
Hence
call
the
her
name was
was
born, right?
exactly. So from saying it so many times, the name just stuck, and now we call her
Yeah,
Black Cat or Blackie for short. Um,
yeah.
all because she ran away for, and we did find her. Well, obviously she's here. But we found her very quickly. She was hiding in the neighbor's shed. Um,
Oh, thank goodness.
yeah,
Yeah,
but it was so emotional because we just brought her home and she ran out, and she has never
yeah.
tried to run out since.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, you could see if you're watching on video, I have a wedding ring. I am divorced now, but yeah, while I was, uh-oh,
He doesn't want me
one
on
of the cats,
camera.
one of the cats undid the camera. Yeah, thank goodness that's all it was. It
And see,
wasn't
this is why
lost.
normally the door is closed.
Yeah, thank goodness the internet wasn't about to go down. But
Oh,
yeah, when I was married, we had CC, the one black cat, was a stray that we took. Both of them were strays, and the other one was Sylvester. Obviously, because it looks like Sylvester from Sylvester and Tweety,
mm-hmm.
right? You know, the little white uh, a bow tie like thing
Yes.
for, yeah, and the white around the whiskers. So yeah, we had Sylvester and CC, and before my wife came along, I had Angel, who was a calico
Oh,
cat.
yes.
So, and she's like, "Who's this other person coming into the house? This is my house, right?" Yeah,
Right? Yeah,
but she warmed
exactly.
up to her real quick.
Yeah. Awesome. So a question I like to ask everybody, is what is your piece of advice? Sorry, what is your piece of advice for those listening right now, that are dealing with depression?
Well, I kind of already gave it.
Yeah,
Like I
it's a
said,
summary.
yeah, remember, things could always be better. They could often be worse. Everybody's dealing with issues and troubles. You don't know what the promise of tomorrow, next week, next month, next year may bring until you carpe diem it.
Yes. So I know we've already talked about your book quite a bit throughout the interview, but as we come to the end, oh, there's cat fur all over now, and now I'm all
Now you're going to sneeze. Huh?
probably. So as we come to the end of the interview, give us a little bit more details about what the book is about and where people can get their hands on it.
Well, yeah, we mentioned terror strikes coming soon to a city near you a few times, and like I said, it's a book about life, not death. Life over death, love over hate, hope over fear, faith over despair, good over evil. So there's a lot going on in the book. Terrorism, of course, just happens to be the main thread
Yes.
that weaves the tapestry together. And as one reviewer gratefully said, and you can go to terrorstrikes.info/reviews, uh, how it is woven together like a fine tapestry. And, I've been writing a long time, even though these are my first internationally published books that you would find. You won't find the others. These are clearly not my first attempt. So I will mention the other because I've been on many interviews talking about terror strikes, and they
Mm-hmm.
say, "Hey, why don't you just come back and talk about writing and publishing in general?" Well, after a dozen of those, I looked on Amazon and saw, yeah, there's a bazillion how to put your book on Amazon books.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not what people are asking. So I wrote how to write a book and get it published, hints, tips, and techniques for two things: people who are writers and want to become published and just, are lacking the confidence or to do so. And also, there's a lot of avid readers out there. You can
Mm-hmm.
think of how to write a book and get it published as a behind the scenes book, a tell all, though I don't drop a lot of names. But what did your author go through to get this book in your hands?
Mm.
Right? So you can look
Few
at it.
tears and a few
Yeah.
late nights.
So you can look at it from those aspects as a guide to help you write and publish, or as a behind the scenes how
Mm.
how the sausage is made, right, so to speak.
Yes, yes. Okay, and they're both available on Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon. How to write a book and get it published. Physical copies only, either direct through josephmlenard.us, terrorstrikes.info. You got somebody, you got the cat wrangler in now, huh? But yeah, the Terror Strikes, Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, Amazon, anywhere bookstores. And of course, I'm a big proponent of shop local. If you've
Yes.
got a bookstore anywhere near you, they can order it for you. Please, frequent them, but support our brick and mortar establishments, because 80% of all books are sold through Amazon. And
Yes.
while I've got nothing against Amazon per se, Jeff Bezos has got enough money.
Excellent. So, and I am, as I mentioned earlier, I am in the process of reading Terror Strikes. So my review will be out in a few weeks. So everyone can go and, of course, check that out on the rbwriting.ca website. And I will be posting it on Amazon if you buy it that way too. um,
Well, I
and
appreciate that because that's yeah, I have a few reviews I've got like 26 reviews on Amazon. I've got like one on Barnes and Nobles and one on Books A Million because the problem is, people may buy your book and they may even love your book. They don't go back
yeah,
and tell people that they love
right?
your book.
I know.
You're more likely to get a troll who don't like you
Yes.
leave you a negative review just to needle you. So
Yeah.
that's
So for
why,
all the listeners out there, because I have this trouble too with my books, for all the listeners out there, if you have read an author's book and you loved it, write them a quick little review, even as much as just hitting that 5 stars and saying, great book. Is
yep,
super helpful for us, right? Like if you enjoyed the book, let other people know. It's
which
helpful.
is why I suggest, though, on how to write a book and get it published, that you do create your own website and you do, like I did, terrorstrikes.info/reviews, create a reviews page so you can bring the Goodreads, the books in Barnes and Noble, Apple Books, Books A Million, Amazon, all the various places that you might get a one-off review all together onto one place so people, because some people, they don't recognize this and they may see there's one review, nobody's buying and reading
Right?
this
I
book,
know.
and that's not true.
Hey, they're
That's
just all
because
over
there's
the place.
just because
Yeah.
there's not a lot of reviews there doesn't mean people aren't buying it and reading it. And I even put a couple negative reviews on my reviews page because I believe in honesty and upfront.
Yep. Well, that's what I always say when I offer my book review services. I always say honest book reviews because
Yep.
just because you pay me to do your book doesn't mean that it equals 5 stars.
Right. Right. And I discuss this in how to write a book and get it published. Look, you can have a great story. It just doesn't mean it's for everybody.
Well,
Not
exactly.
not everybody is going to like you, your story, or your style of delivery. And I'm glad we kind of came up with that because there's a service out there through Boker called Incubate, INK, ink, as in
Yeah.
writing, incubate, not the INC kind. Uh, has a service called Score It. You put your book through their system, they run artificial intelligence against
Oh.
a database of millions of books to
Huh.
tell you who your style is like. Now, we all like to think I am a unique and unlike anybody else. But the chances of that are slim. And in a sense, you don't want to be so unique and different
Yes.
that, and I'm former IT, so I do. Martin is writing a book on terrorism. So it's a book in a book,
Yeah.
tried and true storytelling method. But I also put what no other author's ever done. So I am indeed unique and the first in this, and hoping to start a trend since we're in the internet age, a blog within a book. Because,
Oh, yes.
the internet age, everyone knows what a blog is.
Yep.
So to present the story in a bit of a different fashion, I do that. But Boker's Incubate Score It system says if you like Dean Koontz, especially his
Hmm.
book Innocence, you will love me and Terror Strikes coming soon to a city near you. And in fact, you could go to terrorstrikes.info/score it. I have a page that shows you the 3 books and 3 authors. They say people who like them will like you because as an unknown author, and hey, Dean Koontz, Tom Clancy, James Patterson,
Mm-hmm.
Stephen King, J.K. Rowling were all unknown authors at some time. right?
Yes.
When you're unknown, it's kind of good to have somebody say, hey, if they like Dean Koontz, they'll like you, to be able to say that. So all you Dean Koontz fans out there.
There you go. I like that. I wrote that down so I can check that out because I had never heard of that before. So where do people follow you? Obviously, they can go to your website.
Yeah, if you're watching on video, you see in the lower corner there, Joseph M Lenard, aka J Lenard Detroit. Again, it's Leonard, not Lenard. Leonard, no O. J Lenard Detroit. Since I'm from the Detroit area, if you see on video, you see the Detroit skyline in the background there. Uh, I'm on 15 different social media platforms.
Oh my
So
gosh.
almost whatever platform you're on, you should be able to find Jay Leonard Detroit there. Especially Instagram. I'm on an alias on Facebook because my original account, created in 2006, was banned years ago. So, and again, in Twitter, yeah, a Jay Leonard author, because Jay Leonard Detroit, they banned that. So yeah, I'm well aware of cancel culture and censorship.
Oh
And some of the
my.
reasons why I get negative reviews, like those trolls that don't like you. I'm known in Michigan, have been for a long time. There are people who don't like me, so of course they just want to attack the book as a form of attacking me.
It happens. It
Even
happens.
though even though they may have bought a Kindle version, they bought the cheap Kindle version just so they think they're being clever to say they're a verified buyer, but it's clear with what they've said, they
But you
didn't
know
read
what?
the book. They
They
didn't
gave you
read it.
money. They might not like you,
Yeah,
but they gave you money
yeah.
anyways. That's my favorite.
The usual tropes, right? If they don't like you, they can't deal with you on a substantive level. So you're racist, you're sexist, you're homophobic, you're Islamophobic. Tell that to Dawn Williams, a Black Muslim woman who has the research show, who had me on to discuss the book and loves the book, saying, yes, she gets it. It's not just about Islamic terror. And you mentioned a cousin in Toronto. There's a Toronto chapter. There's a
Yeah, there's a
London,
lot of different chapters. I just
you know,
I just read a Japan chapter, so
yeah,
it's very
it's
interesting.
about international terrorism. Not all terrorists are
Hmm.
Muslim or Arab, and not all Arabs and Muslims are terrorists,
Hmm.
right? It's a shame I have to say this disclaimer every time, right? But again, people who haven't read the book will call me and it Islamophobic. It is
Yeah.
not. Dawn Williams will attest to that. You know, terrorists come in all shapes, sizes, and forms,
Yeah.
all different, skin tones, all different backgrounds.
Yeah.
So it is about that in general, but again, about so many other things, about
Hmm.
life and living, not death.
Excellent. And we're gonna stick the link so that you can follow Joseph M. Lenard down in
Yeah,
the
that's
description
the other site.
below.
josephmleonard.us is my author site. Terrorstrikes.info for the book specifically. josephmleonard.us. Check that out. Me as an author. There's a contact tab on both. You can reach
Perfect.
out to me.
Excellent. So thank you so much for joining us on the show today. And keep your eyes peeled for the book review.
Yeah, and thank you. Thank you for having me on. Again, I'd like to be on the different shows like this rather than the welcome to the book show. Tell us about your book. The NPR or C-SPAN book notes, dull, monotonous, an important subject of dealing with people who are at risk for self-harm. This is an important subject. And I was on a show just the other day, last week, The Baseball Lifer. I got to have fun and talk about baseball because
Oh, that's awesome.
there's a baseball sub theme that runs through Terror Strike, which I can't talk too much about as it would give away
Yeah.
spoilers.
Yeah.
But
No
if you like,
spoilers. I'm
yeah,
reading.
if you like baseball, that's in there too.
Excellent. All right. So thank you so much again. And we'll be in touch soon.
All righty. Yeah, your one is seem a saboteur provocateur a little more than the other.
Yeah. Like I said,
Black,
he's an attention hog. So that's why.
yeah. Black Cat just kind of,
She just
all right,
chills.
what's going on in here? Am I
Hmm.
missing something? I can't miss out, right? I gotta know
Exactly.
what's going on. The curiosity killed the cat thing, right?
And satisfaction brought it back.
Yeah.
As always, thank you so much for the amazing guests that we have on the show. Be sure to check out their links down in the description below. If you want to support the channel, go ahead and check out our merch store. We've got some very cool things on there. That's my favorite. Sorry, I'm busy ending the stigma. But there's some other very cool designs. 10% of the proceeds always goes back to the Canadian Mental Health Association. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at RB Media because we have some great new shows coming up and you never want to miss any of those episodes. And remember, the only way to end the stigma of mental health is to speak openly and honestly. Bye.